Ellie here. Today we are going to be taking a look at this Hanamaru cheerleader costume that I ordered off of eBay. This is my first time ordering a costume in at least 7 or 8 years, so I'm really excited to take a look at it and see if the cost is worth the convenience. So let's go ahead and take a look. I ordered this cheerleader Hanamaru costume from Cosplay Fly 2010 on eBay. If memory serves me correctly, then this is actually the store that I ordered my new Ichigo costume from 10 years ago. So they've been around a really long time, which is crazy to me that they've been around for so long. And I ordered this costume on January 14th, 2019, and it arrived on February 8th, 2019. So a little less than a month, and that includes shipping time. I will say that shipping from China has gotten, I don't want to say worse, but maybe a little bit more mysterious. While you have tracking coming from China, once it gets into the US, they stop tracking it. So I had my tracking stuck on customs declaration completed for over a week, and that kind of freaked me out until it suddenly arrived at my doorstep. So that's something to be aware of when you're ordering these costumes online. You might not really know where they are until they show up at your doorstep. Now this costume cost me $59.99 with free shipping, so $60-ish for everything you see here minus the wig. I already had the wig. So the costume includes the skirt, the bodice with the sailor collar already attached, the neck bow, the little organza ruffle thing, the bow with the rosette on it, as well as socks, gloves, and a hair bow. So there's a lot of value here. There's a lot of stuff that you are getting in this costume. But of course, you guys know me, I'm a seamstress, so I'm going to be picking this thing apart to the smallest little detail. So let's go ahead and take some close-up looks at this costume. The first thing I want to note is that the material is so nice. The entire thing is made out of this very high quality spandex that has the pattern printed directly onto the material. So this means that the fabric is completely accurate. That's the reason I ordered this costume. There's no way I would have spent my time sewing all of these little box pleats and adding the ribbon detail to the front. It just wasn't gonna happen. So for $60, I was happy to order it and have the convenience of it not taking hours and hours and hours of my time. But like I was saying, the jersey material that this is made out of is really high quality. It's silky and soft, but it's not necessarily shiny, and I don't see any issues with it being seen through, which can be a problem when you have white spandex. The first thing I want to look at is the skirt. This skirt is beautifully made. I absolutely adore it. Like I said, the fabric is printed, so the contrast panels inside of the box pleats are printed into place and they look really, really clean. All of the box pleats are nice, the pattern is gorgeous, the fit is really good as well. It rests perfectly on my hips and it has a very sturdy waistband. Underneath the spandex layer, you have a layer of polyester satin for a lining, and on the bottom of that, there is your yellow scallop. The scallop has been finished with, I think it's a burned edge of some sort, so it's not going to be fraying, which is awesome. It's also super cute. It's an adorable little detail on this costume. So my issue with this skirt is kind of unavoidable, and there's no real way to combat this. This skirt rests on your lower hips. So this is one of the widest parts of your body. When you're moving, dancing, jumping, things like that, this skirt doesn't stay put. It doesn't have any way to stay right where it should be. So as I'm moving, dancing, jumping, it's moving up and down my waistline or spinning around to other sides, and it's just not staying in place. In order to combat this issue, I am going to be sewing in either a pair of safety shorts or spandex panties or something like that to keep this skirt held down and in place. This is something that the costume company could also do and would really up the level of this costume, but would also up the price. So it's one of those things that you could add if you wanted, but I don't know if it's necessary for everyone unless you're going to be dancing or jumping in this costume. Attached to the skirt is this organza ruffle with this pink bow and beautiful rosette. The organza ruffle is made of 2 layers and is finished off with a serged edge. It looks really clean, and the ruffles have been pressed into place, so they're not going to be getting out of order or anything like that. And the other thing with this is that it attaches to the costume with a safety pin, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with attaching accessories to a costume with a safety pin, but it's a lot more secure and it looks a lot nicer if you attach a flat back pin to these ruffles and then you can pin it on. Of course, the bow also attaches with the safety pin, and this is another instance where I would attach a flat back pin to that bow. I would actually attach the bow to the organza and then just have it on one pin. This would make it a lot easier, and it's something the costume company could do as well. They could just attach that organza ruffle directly onto the bow, and if they still want to have safety pins, you could just have one safety pin. This way, it'll be a lot more consistent every time you wear it, and there are less pieces for you to lose. I'm so bad about losing costume pieces, so it's really important to me that everything is as connected as possible. Now, this little bow is made of a beautiful kind of two-tone taffeta. It's a really nice material, and I kind of want to know where they got it because I would love to have some of that in my stash. It has ribbon details, and then you have this little rosette. The rosette is made of vinyl with the letters Love Live School Idol Festival printed right onto it, and then you have a spandex ruffle around it. Now, this is something I knew going into this costume. I just don't like the font that they used, and I think this is actually the font that the real design used in School Idol Festival, and I just think it's ugly. So I may or may not take those letters off and then print them on myself in a different font, just because this font feels a lot like Comic Sans, and I can't do that. I just can't. So that's kind of a personal opinion though. If you wanted to wear the costume as is, this piece still looks really, really nice. And if you wanted to use the safety pins as well, I found that if you pin the organza ruffle to the waistband from the front, and then you pin the bow to the waistband from the back, you get this really secure hold and you don't have any issues. But again, that's just me being a really nitpicky costumer. I do this for a living, so I'm really, really particular about the way things get attached. If you weren't so particular and you just wanted to have fun in a cosplay costume, these attachments are totally fine. There's nothing wrong with them. So we are going to move on to the bodice. The bodice of this costume is again made of the same spandex as the skirt and has School Idol Festival printed onto the front. It is lined with this nice mesh material which helps keep your sweat off of the costume and makes it a little bit more professional as well. The sailor collar is made of a beautiful twill fabric and is attached directly to the actual bodice. And then you also have this taffeta bow that's attached to a long strap that has Velcro on the back and can wrap around the sailor collar and hang loosely around your neck. So in concept, this bodice is really great. When I pulled it out of the bag, I was surprised with how beautiful it looked and how well put together it was. And maybe this is me not reading the size chart correctly, or maybe this is me just having a smaller waist but a larger bust. And you know, this might be a personal problem, quite frankly, because I see people wear this costume out of the bag all the time and it looks great on them. But this did not fit me at all. It was too small but also too big. So when I put this on, I had this gaping at the bust line, which is not fun. And the pattern kept rising up, and as I would dance in it, it would rise all the way up to where I wasn't even wearing the costume anymore almost. It was showing off my bra completely, which is just not cool. Not the look I'm going for. But after a little bit of finicking, I found that I could fix that. It seems that the shoulder seams weren't made at an angle, so they kind of go up a little bit, if that makes sense. So I'm going to take in the shoulders, and then I'm also going to take in the side seams and tighten up the entire bodice. This way it won't creep around as much. And if I still have issues, I'm going to add a little bit of elastic to the waist as well. But really, I do think that's a personal issue. Otherwise, the bodice is pretty well constructed. The lining and the fashion layer are a little bit off. You can see that there's a bit of a ripple in the hemline of the bodice, which is caused from one of the layers being shorter than the other and it's pulling. That's not a huge issue though for me, especially once I take it in, that'll tighten everything up and it won't have as much room to kind of wiggle around. So next we have a few more accessories. The hair accessory is made of the same twill as the collar on the bodice, and it has a nice little alligator clip so you can add that right into your wig or your hair. And then we also have a pair of gloves. These are awesome fingerless gloves with the same sort of printed spandex as the rest of the costume. The one thing I don't like about these gloves is that the fingers were simply cut off, which is fine, but that means that they weren't finished, which means that they're probably going to unravel and fall apart as I'm wearing them unless I go through and finish them up. Again, something that's easy to fix, but if this is a costume that you were buying and planning to wear over and over and over again, these would definitely fall apart on you. And then the last part of this costume is this awesome pair of socks. Once again, the same printed spandex as everything else. These socks are so cool! I was expecting these to be ugly. Like, I have ordered costumes before many years ago, and the socks were like too short or too long and bunched at the ankle, but these are this great spandex material, so they work really, really well. They even fit my huge feet. I wear size 11 shoes, and I had no issue with these socks. So, A+ there. They are also super duper long. They go all the way up to my thigh, which again, I'm like 5'9", okay? So another rarity for me, especially on an ordered costume. So these socks go all the way up to my thigh and they look really cool once you get them on. Once again, they do slide down, so you'll need to attach them either to your dance tights or put some elastic or sock glue or something like that. But that's kind of to be expected. That's not at the fault of the costume maker or anything like that. So in the end, if I were to make this costume myself, I would have spent at least $100 in materials and then 15 to 20 hours actually constructing the costume. So in time and actual monetary value, this is 100% worth it. For $60 for this really cute costume that I could easily match with friends if I wanted to, and I feel freaking adorable in it, it's 100% worth it, I think, personally. Like I said, be aware of sizing issues and also be prepared to maybe make a couple alterations, but nothing insane. And if you wanted to wear it straight out of the bag, you totally could, like totally could. So that was my review of my Cheerleader Hanamaru costume from Cosplay Fly 2010 on eBay. I will make sure I leave a link in the description below for this costume, but I want to make sure you know this was not sponsored in any way. I definitely spent my own money on this. So everything that I said was 100% true, honest, and my actual feelings. So I hope you guys enjoyed this cosplay review. Let me know if you would like to see more of these or if there are any certain shops that you're curious about their quality. I would love to check them out and make a video about it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Give it a like and a subscribe and leave a comment. I love reading your guys' comments, and I will see you in the next video. So as always, keep sewing, stay positive, and have fun. I will see you all next time.